Tomorrow marks the one-year anniversary since Valet Air Flight 180 exploded and crashed shortly after takeoff from JFK Airport.
Previously on Newsroom, way the f***ing position.
I appreciate you using the word sinister. Most people say supernatural.
This guest will go on to explain that it's not supernatural, but that it's a sort of force that is an unseen, malevolent presence that's all around us every day that he calls death. But to repeat, definitely not supernatural.
I believe that there's a sort of force, an unseen, malevolent presence that's all around us every day.
Twitter. Late 90s, early aughts horror film has an and or also starring Tony Todd credit cliche.
So when Alex Browning got off that plane and took the other survivors with him...
Getting an older discount Devon Sawa to talk about Alex Browning, played by the actual Devon Sawa.
Kimberly.
The movie will never even hit at why death was in the wake-up call business this morning.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
No one will be seated as death closes Kimberly's bedroom door.
Because in the end, no one can escape death.
Except one person from that flight did escape death as of now, and this guy would absolutely know that. And I'm beginning to think he's just reading from a script to set up the thesis of the movie for those who missed part one.
Kimberly, you sure you've got everything? Credit card, cell phone, AAA card?
Yeah, it's Daytona, not Somalia.
Now I'm super curious why Kimberly thinks she would need a AAA card more in Somalia than Daytona. Movie doesn't think the Demolish the Mustangs banner is obvious enough, so it has the kids in the bus doing the ever-popular pile-up chant for elite status foreshadowing.
A candlelight vigil.
Kimberly turns the radio on to 104.9 FM to hear some more news position, but isn't interested, so she hits seek, at which point the radio turns to a station playing Highway to Hell without the FM frequency ever changing. Spooky. Get it? It's a Firebird, because he's going to catch on fire. Do you get it? Also, the movie never actually takes these asshole kids to task for ruining all the work Death has been doing over many years to prepare these clues, making sure people bought the right cars and the right school was on the way to a game. He's even been working behind the scenes for years on this, and Kimberly and crew never even recognized that effort once in this movie. Why is Kimberly's dad just now calling? He saw that the car was leaking transmission fluid right after Kimberly and Shayna pulled out of the driveway. They have since picked up Dano and Frankie and have made it to the highway.
Mina, take care of it, okay?
Get it? She flashes him. Because it's going to be a flash fire. Okay, maybe I'm reaching now, but it must be foreshadowing, otherwise this would all feel pretty gratuitous.
Get rid of it.
How was this the best plan? Maybe the cop wouldn't see the joint being thrown, but why take that chance? Stub it out on the window edge and put it away. That's what I'd tell my weed smoking friend to do. My friend is me. This cut to the highway directly follows a scene in which we clearly establish that Kimberly is beside Kat's expedition and in front of the police vehicle. It's possible we moved ahead in time a bit. The one thing about this opening crash I don't like is how lazy the geography on all the vehicles is. It's a parade of character introductions that has very little interest in setting up who is where or when, as long as the logs go boom boom and kill them all in the right order by the time it's over. Playing with your trucks and having your semi kissing a pickup. What's next? Minivans, f***ing SUVs? What is this world coming to? Still placing a giant pair of dice on the rearview mirror in the year of our Lord 2003. Having a hard time believing this is a cop I can trust in any capacity if he's not bright enough to put a lid on his coffee cup. Has McDonald's taught us nothing? Man, this highway is filled with so many irresponsible assholes, I don't think they needed the log truck to cause any other crashes. Also, snorting cocaine with your window open, as if you're giving new meaning to the phrase, doing blow. In fact, every single car on this expressway is driving full speed with its windows open. Every single one! And thus begins a visualization of highway carnage so intense and well edited that you will never look at log trucks on the road the same way again. It's in the conversation for best open to a movie ever. And I can't even believe I'm giving a sin off for this movie, but damn, does this scene deserve it? Cars do not f***ing explode when hit by another car. The most, the impact could spark a fire, depending on where the car is hit. But it still wouldn't explode, at least not this quickly. Mrs. Gibbons appears to wait several seconds into the accident to even attempt braking, just to make sure the water bottle has time to find its way to its mark. Shayna appears to still be alive and conscious, despite apparently having her head hanging outside of the sunroof for much of the vehicle's rollover phase. In other words, Shayna's head survives this. In the before vision, this woman jump scares the window exactly 1 second before she shakes the cans and they fall. But this time, it's a full 7 seconds before they fall, and I no longer believe anything I'm seeing.
A candlelight
What are you
vigil.
doing?
And this time, this reporter is on 98.9 FM a full 20 seconds earlier than last time. And I honestly don't want to do this with every little inconsistency, so I'll just add a few sins that I've had a vision about happening in the future while I'm thinking about them now. I can try and make some sense of this lineup for the most part, but Eugene and his motorcycle being in front of the policeman is some real bullshit. Did you see how fast he was passing cars on the highway earlier? How the hell did he fall that far behind his crew if he was already out in front of Officer Burke when he entered the highway?
pull over!
Great point, Evan. Why didn't Kimberly just pull over? She's in complete shock, but she had that forethought to pull in front of all these people to save their lives? I walked through a door and can't remember why I even went in there like 8 times a day, so I refuse to believe anyone has this kind of clarity.
That's it.
And it's time for a story problem, boys and girls. If a Death Vision car leaves an intersection traveling at 60 miles per hour, and a Death Vision truck passes that same intersection exactly 3 minutes later, how fast would that truck have to be going to pass that car on the expressway exactly 1 minute and 43 seconds later? I'm gonna guess 1,000,000 miles an hour. Back me up, comments.
Why won't you listen to me?
I don't even need a story problem to figure out how convenient it is that this accident decided to validate Kimberly by happening about 5 miles and 4 minutes earlier than in the Vision. I can eyeball that shit.
Listen, I know you've gone over all this with Detective Subi.
But can you please restate it for the audience and everyone else in the room so we can get everyone the info and get the plot moving forward?
Surely you must have read about the kid who had a dream about a plane blowing up, so he got all his buddies off the plane, and then the thing blew up just like in his dream.
Yeah.
But did you hear what happened after?
I know that we did at the beginning of this movie from the TV interview playing in Kimberly's bedroom. So why do we have to hear about all this again?
So a month goes by, right? Everything seems cool.
Movie never properly explains why death leaves a bit of a time gap for relationship building and exposition before exacting its justice.
Kimberly!
How's Mr. Corman just showing up to the police station now? First, he waited way too long to call her about the transmission fluid, and now this. I'm starting to think Mr. Corman is a terrible father.
I have this really bad feeling.
What?
It's not over yet.
Reminding me there are 3 more of these and another one in the works because apparently nobody knows what the word final means. Now this is how you do subtle foreshadowing. You have a doll missing an eye as a subtle nod to the death that is coming. That way, you don't have to directly spell things out for the audience. And the director said, have him carrying an Apple iMac computer in his pile of new purchases so the audience will have yet another eye clue and know for sure his lottery win turned him into a rich asshole. He puts the fried mozzarella sticks in the pan and the leftover stir fry in the microwave. I know we're supposed to hate this man, but this is like having a character pee in the sink before pooping in the urinal when it should have been the other way around. Wait, this fire extinguisher under the sink was reachable even when your hand was stuck in the disposal and you were choosing the wave cloth at fire strategy instead. Storing C4 in your apartment, apparently.
Jesus Christ!
Movie prioritizes getting one last fake out in over understanding gravity's piss-poor ability to pull a metal stair leg through a human skull when dropped from only a foot up. Also, this was a super convoluted way to kill off Evan. We had possible death by sink disposal, death by stove fire, which eventually turned into a full-on apartment fire, and finally the actual death by a fire escape ladder going through his eye. Why does death have to take all these careful measures? Is death concerned that if it doesn't make these deaths look like probable scenarios, someone will take death to court? And I'm telling you, if that's the case, that's the movie I want to see.
Route 23 was backed up for almost 9 hours today.
A record-breaking pileup killed an estimated 18 people.
What does death do with the people that died in place of our main cast? Certainly, death had plans for them too, right? Does he just forget about that? Let them stay dead because they are extras? That's so rude.
The camera of a highway patrol car managed to catch this shocking footage. A semi comes careening across the roadway and smashes into a red SUV. The driver of the SUV was standing inside her vehicle. The state trooper...
Yeah, no worries. It's just the brutal death of my 3 closest friends who I've yet to really mention to anyone or process in any real way because I may have accidentally ticked off death and I got shit to do. Also, any news station that would show the recorded death of 3 kids in prime time. I'm a creepy movie referencing Stephen King. Do you see it? I can make it bigger if you like. I guess this is what I get for planting one of those skeleton arm trees outside my window. Can't say the guy at the tree store didn't warn me. I give all the sins back if we find out Kimberly later in life changed her name to Jennifer Giroux and uses everything she has learned in her literal battle with death to become an invaluable member of the behavioral analysis unit at Quantico for, let's say, 17 seasons or so. Movie gives the whole map questing scene so we know how Kimberly found her way there, but doesn't show her doing the grunt work of printing that shit out. And someday when your kids just have driverless cars arrive to pick them up and take them wherever they want to go without even a thought about it, you too will realize how weird it is to be nostalgic for times when things were more complicated.
The survivors of Flight 180 died in the exact order they were originally meant to die in the plane crash.
And lucky for Kimberly, she chose to take the let's go talk to Clear route in her investigation, because otherwise she wouldn't have known about the dying in order bullshit, which is extremely important knowledge to have. You know how we feel about luck around these parts.
You said that you die in the order you're originally meant to.
But my friends died last in my premonition, not first.
This will eventually lead to some cool new world building about death's rules, but Just a reminder that Kimberly has zero idea of the full order that anyone died in, or if there is anyone else she inadvertently saved that she might not know about.
An in-your-face irony kind of thing?
Making your over-the-top obvious foreshadowing a part of your plot so you can continue your over-the-top obvious foreshadowing. I guess we're supposed to believe that Clear has cheated Death by staying in this padded room, but what does she eat? How is it prepped? Death couldn't find a way to Rube Goldberg some rat poison into her food? Or what about a tornado? An earthquake? What are the limits of Death's reach here? If he can make sure it's raining so the road is wet enough for that accident, I think it's got a pretty wide sway.
I tried calling you last night, but your father said you were sleeping.
So instead of calling back today like a normal human being would do, I decided to show up at your house uninvited because that's not creepy at all.
Evan Lewis is dead.
Not sure why Kimberly thinks that Burke might not know about Evan's death. I guess the police in this town rely on citizens to tell them about crimes that have occurred.
Did you see that?
See what?
Pigeons.
Pigeons?
It's a sign.
Death waits until Kimberly has the signs conversation with Clear to start sending other people's signs her way, instead of slyly leaving them in the path of the actual person next on the list like usual.
If Clear's right about the order, then Nora and Tim are going to be attacked by pigeons.
And Officer Burke will immediately go along with what Kimberly has told him, even though it makes no sense and I'm not even sure he knows who Clear is. The correct response from Officer Burke should have been, who the names their kid Clear Rivers? The fact that if you said you were watching a movie from 2003 where there was a fish tank in a dentist's office and one of the fish messed with the filtration system and a bird flew into the window distracting the dentist, and I still couldn't tell you the exact movie you mean is a sin. This random shoe on this poster that I guess is supposed to remind this gator that we can make shoes out of him, maybe.
Oh, damn, those pigeons.
Damn them all to hell!
How did they expect me to...
Thinking that the bird's just trying to figure out invisible walls give a shit about your ability to dentist correctly.
What did he say about your tooth?
These two seem pretty chill after having to deal with a dentist who clearly has a pigeon-breaking glass problem. Oh, and Tim almost f***ing choked to death.
The pigeons!
What? Pigeons.
Hearing the people who've been warning you about death coming shouting pigeons and thinking that means, wouldn't it be fun to run into a big group of pigeons? Kid deserves to be window dressing. Thinking glass that breaks on pigeon impact could pop a human like a blood balloon. That sun visor literally dropped on its own out of nowhere so she could see Clear coming, and are we supposed to believe Death did that? Why? And if not, what other forces are working in this movie that we don't know about and the movie never explores?
How's this guy gonna help us anyway?
Well, see, he's a magical secondary character that helps the primary characters in mystical ways, even though their relationship to the protagonist is barely skin deep. Sure, there's a term for it. If Spike Lee were here, I bet he'd know what to call it.
That's Evan Lewis.
Yep, who would have thought that you'd be just in time to see him like this for full effect? The screenwriters, that's who.
Look, we drove a long way to get here.
I'm so confused about the logistics of this movie. I'm guessing the Flight 180 incident took place in a different town, but Kimberly was within driving distance to Clear, and I'm assuming Tony Todd was set up in the same area as the Flight 180 explosion. So why would they have to drive even farther to see him? And why is this morgue in what looks like a f***ing dungeon? Bloodworth waits to take out this nipple ring until after he's prepped the body and wheeled it out, as if he knew he would be needing it for an extra level of creepiness right now.
Only new life can defeat death.
Is Tony Todd just going to have something new to add to the how to beat death debate in every one of these movies? Because why didn't he give everyone in the first movie this option as well? Why would he hold this tidbit so close to the vest?
What the f*** are you thinking?
I'm thinking sucking my junk, biatch.
Wearing a jacket over a t-shirt, over a hoodie, over another t-shirt.
If she gives birth to a baby that would have died in that car crash, a brand new soul that was never part of Death's design.
It throws the whole list out of whack and we start over with a clean slate.
Fun, neato, I dig. But that's a very specific cause for Death to install in his TOS. Gotta love it when the underworld takes some time for the fine print. Also, I'm not trying to start any political debates here, but you might want to find out which side of the aisle Death sits on before assuming what it thinks is and isn't already life. Anyone checked in with Death for their view on Roe and Dobbs?
How are we gonna find her? There could be thousands of white vans in the state.
Hey, I'm a cop, remember?
Considering the movie has forgotten, you really can't blame us for forgetting as well, Burke.
Hey, let go of my shoe!
Arguing with an elevator door.
I can get it for you. No, it's all right. I'll do it if you want me to do it. Just let me do it.
Movie has what the f time for this?
A place where no subway could ever possibly go. Get it?
Thinking you can escape Subway. Those fuckers are in the Walmarts now.
There is nobody after us but you, trying to make us all crazy.
If this was Eugene's stance, then why did he even show up for the post-crash get-together? And how does he explain the coincidental deaths that have already taken place? Can't figure out if I'm more irritated with the characters that accept the crazy reality so quickly, or the characters that refuse to believe the obvious. Can we just watch that opening crash sequence over and over until we reach 90 minutes instead?
Nora's gotta bite it before me anyhow, huh?
Oh, you people have no sense of humor.
Or logic for that matter, because she's right. If death truly does have to go in order, and they know she's next, this group's only job right now should be keeping Nora alive, instead of just letting her walk out the door unaccompanied.
Man with hooks.
If Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze show up right now, and this is an I Know What You Did Last Destination team up, I'm giving back all the sins.
A man with hooks is gonna kill you.
That is quite a leap for you to say that with such certainty. What if a guy with hooks was just going to kidnap Tinkerbell, huh? I bet you'd feel pretty stupid then, wouldn't you?
Maybe they're all duds. 6 in a row? Never. That's impossible.
It is not. Did he just put the fully loaded clip back in his gun and keep it pointed at Isabella? Because I think he just put the fully loaded clip back in his gun and kept it pointed at Isabella.
I am not gonna have my baby in a jail cell!
Well, not with that attitude, you're not.
If that call had come in just 10 seconds later, I'd be dead too.
I'm sorry. I got one too.
That's right. Each of these survivors has had a previous near-death experience, and not a single one of them brought it up until now, as if it's not the only thing they've been thinking about for the past 48 hours.
The call about the train wreck that saved my life. That was the night I scraped up Billy Hitchcock.
Choosing the most insensitive way possible to have this revelation.
They were my friends.
They were not, Clear. You were by yourself at the airport reading a book, trying not to be bothered. I actually watched Final Destination, did you?
When we got off Flight 180, it didn't just change our lives. It affected everyone and everything we've come into contact with since.
Introducing the butterfly effect into Final Destination rules just made Death's list into a multi-tab spreadsheet. And as much as I love spreadsheets, I'm not sure this movie has the desire or capability to really wrestle with the consequences of what it's implying.
That's why Death is working backwards. It's tying up all the loose ends.
That still doesn't explain why Death is working backwards. Just because you say it with so much assurance, Clear, doesn't make it any less stupid of a thing to say.
Officer Adams reporting a vehicle collision off 9A at the 180-mile marker.
And the number 180 pops up again, as if the movie just wanted to throw some numerology into the mix for funsies. It's not like this line is set exactly 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 0 seconds into the movie. Holy shit.
You're gonna get me out of here before this thing explodes or something, okay?
I think it's okay. I don't smell any gas and none's dripping.
To be fair to Kat, a nice breeze might cause her car to explode, considering how easily a bunch of other cars have exploded in this movie. The local news showed up because Kat ran her car into some hay? How f***ing boring is this town?
When I die, it's gonna hurt.
Actually, no. The movie has gone to great pains to make your coke-snorting, clumsy, rude ass about as unlikable as possible and give us no emotional ties to who you are or what you care about. So yeah, I think we'll be okay. Thanks. As Kat is airbagged to death by PVC, I'd just like to point out that this entire scene, her head, is comfortably to the right of that pipe. And if death can screw with geometry and physics, then y'all are screwed no matter what. Wearing a half-zip jacket over a half-button shirt over a t-shirt. Wait for it. This joke has layers. Also, in an attempt to get to the end of the movie, Death has now stopped giving clues and premonitions because he's probably as sick of this shit as we are by this point. If Death can just close the door and vents and pull out tubes, etc., then why doesn't it just kill Eugene more directly? I know I'm beating a dead horse here through 2 of these movies, but god damn it, the way Death brings death to most of these people makes 0 fucking sense.
You know what? I'm just gonna wait outside because I'm really just kind of in the way here.
Don't you dare leave me!
It's a terrible sitcom happening in the middle of this supernatural horror movie.
I need to know if the baby's all right.
Definitely won't be if unsterilized people keep running into this room.
It's a boy.
Being this excited at the biological sex of someone else's baby, or your own, honestly. Even though we will find out later that the baby wasn't the answer, Death plays along and starts this breathing machine back up to help fake out the audience for a minute or 2. Her premonition memories graduated from Juilliard with a degree in dramatic timing. Every supernatural force in this movie is an absolute cheeky bastard.
Eugene.
How the f*** is it Clear's turn to die with Eugene on the list? Shouldn't Clear be last on the list to tie it all up if Death is working backward to seal the rift? Also, killing characters in horror movie sequels that survived the previous film is never f***ing okay. Stop doing it!
New life.
Convenient bulletin board article headline is convenient. Also, naming your ice cream shop, Dumpies. So is Death trying to keep him from rushing out? But wouldn't Death want him to stop her? And again, if there's a second entity controlling the life side of things, why isn't the movie diving into that nonsense as well? How does this movie have too much supernatural and not enough at the same time? Having a near-death vision of the friends I had forgotten were even in this movie.
Hey, we did it.
What is this we, asshole?
Brian, I think you better go check that barbecue.
Wait, so the dumbass kid that almost got killed earlier before Rory pulled him out of the way was a family friend of someone? Weird. Well, at least the butterfly effect won't impact him, since Kim canceled everything out. That would be out of order anyway, and it's been months since then, and... Fuck.
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
May I finish?
Can I finish here, please?
No yelling on the bus!
Hey, I think we better pull over and check the car because the...
Kimberly, the car is gonna be fine. Your dad's gonna be fine.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Who are you?
My friends call me JJ.
Hello, JJ.
You're not my friend. You can call me Jennifer.
It's sad when a mother has to speak the words that condemn her own son, but I couldn't allow them to believe that I would commit murder.
No wire hangers!
You can talk underwater? Hey, I can talk underwater too!